Hello, we are from Group 11 of Bachelor of Law students. Today, we are proudly and gratefully to present to you the role and power of our beloved Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Our group members consist of Ifa Takiyah binti Roslan, Nur Izzah Izzati binti Osman, Nur Hanis Noha binti Mat Osman, Aina Sofia binti Muhammad Zainal Munshid, and Nur Najihah binti Mustafa Kamal.
My name is Nurhanis Nuha binti Man Osman. Qualification of Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Firstly, only a ruler may be elected if he consent to be elected. The nominees are based on seniority in the list. Secondly, only the rulers are allowed to vote. Neither the son of the king nor the queen has the right to vote. Unqualified candidates. The Constitution provides that a ruler is not eligible for election as the Yang di-Pertuan Agong if, firstly, the ruler is a minor when he does not attain the age of majority, which is 18. Secondly, the ruler has notified the keeper of the ruler's seal that he does not desire or wish to be elected as Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Thirdly, the Conference of Rulers, by a secret ballot, resolved that the ruler is unsuitable by reason of infirmity of mind or body, or for any other cause, to exercise the function of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. But the resolution requires at least 5 members of the conference to vote in favor of it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ifa Takiyah binti Roslan and I will present the next slide. These slides will discuss about the process election of Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Before the election, the meeting date will be fixed within 4 weeks of vacancy when each ruler's consent for nomination as Agong and Deputy Agong has been obtained. When the Conference of Rulers convenes to select the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and the Timbalan Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri or the governors shall not be present although they are members of the conference. The Keeper of Rulers seal and the Assistant Secretary to Conference of Rulers should be present at the conference too. The election is carried out by a secret ballot using unnumbered ballot papers marked with the same pen and ink. The ballot paper will be distributed by the Keeper of the Ruler's seal to all the members who present during the conference. Each member will only receive one ballot paper and it will be distributed based on seniority in list. Each ruler will mark the candidates that they think are suitable and they think that qualified to be the ruler of Malaysia during the next 5 years. After all the marking process, the ballot paper will be cast in the ballot box. After that, the non-listed ruler and the keeper of the ruler's seals will count the ballot paper. As soon as the result of the election is announced, the ballot papers are destroyed, whether they will be burned or shredded in the presence of the rulers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aina Sofia. The election result. If the nominees fail to get at least minimum 5 votes, the voting will be repeated with the next most senior nominees. And also, if the nominees get majority with minimum 5 votes offered Agong post, the nominees accept office of Agong, or Conference of Rulers declare ruler as Agong for next 5 years, and the process above repeated for Deputy Agong for 5-year terms. So, to conclude that if the result of the nominees, as mentioned before, the person will not be elected for the election. After election, first, the Keeper of Ruler seal inform Prime Minister, Dewan Negara and Dewan Rakyat of the result as soon as he received the result. Next, Prime Minister will announce himself the election of the result to everyone. Lastly, Agong Deputy Agong signs oath of office with two rulers as witnesses before Conference of Rulers or Chief Justice or most next senior judges. Role and powers of YDPA. Role of YDPA. For constitutional monarch, Yang di-Pertuan Agong will be the king with a 5-year reign that is the chief of state, but may at any time resign his office by writing under his hand addressed to the Conference of Rulers or be removed from office by the Conference of Rulers and shall cease to hold office on ceasing to be a ruler. Giving support to the government to rule and to promote democracy to state of Malaysia. Article 40. YDPA has his right within the executives to appointed task for the minister, cabinet minister, judges and so as the ambassador. Lastly, YDPA shall not abuse the power but to maintain the better trust to the public by ruling the government and to show value of the position to the state, so our country Malaysia will become an example for other monarchy country in this world. Powers of YDPA. There are two powers, discretionary functions. Appointment of the Prime Minister. YDPA will be the responsible to choose the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Withholding of consent to a request dissolve Parliament, calling a meeting of the Conference of Rulers. Lastly, any other case mentioned in this constitution. For the non-discretionary functions, first appointing judges, which are Chief Justice of Malaysia, Chief Judge of Malaya, and Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak. The appointment and dismissal of all cabinet ministers, summoning or adjourning the parliament, making a proclamation of emergency. Lastly, power to grant pardon, reprieve and respite in respect of all offences which have been tried by court-martial and all offences committed in the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan and Putrajaya.
My name is Nur Izzah Izzati. Next, we go to discretionary powers of YDPA. For a few functions and powers, the YDPA does not have to act on the advice of the Prime Minister or Cabinet but can act on his own discretion. Here means that the YDPA can act on his own without getting any advice from the Prime Minister or Cabinet or anyone else. For the discretionary powers of YDPA has been stated in Article 40 Clause 2 of the Federal Constitution, which is, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong may act in his discretion in the performance of the following functions, that is to say, A. The appointment of a Prime Minister, B. The withholding of consent to a request for the dissolution of Parliament, C. The requisition of a meeting of the Conference of Rulers concerned solely with the privilege, position, honours and dignities of their Royal Highness and any action at such a meeting, and in any other case mentioned in this Constitution. So from this article, we can conclude that there are 4 discretionary powers that the YDPA can act by his own without getting any advice from anyone, and he can make his own decision. First, appointment of the Prime Minister. Second, withholding of consent to a request to dissolve Parliament. Third, calling a meeting of the Conference of Rulers. And last, any other case mentioned in this Constitution.
My name is Nur Najiha binti Mustafa Kamal. Next, we will move to non-discretionary power. Non-discretionary power is YDPA must act on the advice of Prime Minister or the Cabinet. The first one is appointing Judge of Federal Court, Court of Appeal and High Court. Next, the appointment and dismissal of all Cabinet Minister. Yang di-Pertuan Agong shall appoint a Jemaah Menteri, Cabinet of Minister, to advise him in the exercise of his function. Third, summoning the Dewan Rakyat. Yang di-Pertuan Agong shall from time to time summon Parliament and shall not allow 6 months to elapse between the last sitting in one session and the day appointed for its first meeting in the next session. Then, YDPA may issue a proclamation of emergency. If the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is satisfied that a grave emergency exists whereby the security or the economic life or public order in the Federation or any part thereof is threatened. Lastly, Yang di-Pertuan Agong has the power to grant pardon, reprieve and respite in respect of all offences which have been tried by court martial and all offences committed in the Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan and Putrajaya.